Hey everybody, welcome to another discussion between myself and Mr. Rogersbase, where we are going to be talking about the final reveal trailer for the Nintendo NX, which is now known as Nintendo Switch. Like I said earlier, I am joined by Mr. Rogersbase.
What is going on, everybody? And Lord have mercy, you guys are in for a discussion because we were talking earlier, and I have a feeling we violently disagree about a lot of things. So, apparently, by the way, I want to bring this up. You were making fun of me in your reaction this morning. What's going on, man? Trying to start beef?
I'm always starting beefs with you and everyone because I'm an asshole, obviously. I hate Nintendo, and I want them to
You're
fail.
a Trump voter.
That's what, I hate Nintendo, and I want them to fail, which is why I dedicated 10 years of my life to covering Nintendo products. So obviously, Nintendo failing is going to benefit me hugely.
You mean bigly. In the words of your Lord
Bigly.
and Savior Trump, bigly.
Bigly. That listen, you'll put president in front of that if you know what's good for you. President Trump.
God.
Get it right.
God.
So listen, you're right. This is, and speaking of the presidential candidates, this is, like I've told you before, this isn't a discussion. This is going to be a full-on debate. It's almost like we should have Nintendan or somebody in here as a moderator, which would have been a good idea.
Actually, we should have totally invited Nintendo. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, let's just get into it. People want to. This is going to be a long one. I have a feeling that's what she said.
That is what she said.
We're really going to get into it. Where do we even begin?
Let's start with the design. I really want to talk about the design.
Let's talk about the core idea, the idea behind this system.
Okay. You want to go first, or do you want me to go first then?
I'll go first, and then you can go first second.
Okay.
You go first with the next topic.
We're trying to figure this out. Debate rules.
Yep. Okay. Like I said, we need a moderator.
We do.
I am not somebody who really plays games on the go. I'm not a handheld gamer. Now, having said that, I love my Nintendo 3DS. I think the 3DS is home to some fantastic games, many fantastic games. However, when I am out and about, whether it be waiting for a plane or I'm in a park or something like that, I like to experience something called the real world, and I'm not interested in constantly having my face in a Nintendo video game machine. So I don't play games on the go. 95% of the time that I play my Nintendo 3DS, it is in the comforts of my house or somebody else's houses. I think that these games are also so detailed. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's going to be a phenomenal game. Not one that I want to play while I'm on a plane or, in a park or something like that. I want to experience that game and many of these home console games at home, in front of a TV, on my couch, nice and comfy. I don't like the idea of these big, bulky games being something that I play on the go. If I'm going to game on the go, it'll be something simple, like Disney Crossy Road. I pop it open, I tap around, play it, it amuses me for a while, I throw it back away. And it's conveniently located on my phone, something that I, of course, am going to take with me everywhere I go. This thing, it's pretty big, and I'm going to have to put it in a bag or something when I take it. It still doesn't look portable. I don't game on the go. So right off the bat, there's this issue with me and Nintendo Switch where it is fundamentally not something that I'm interested in doing. So it's like I have to pay for a feature that is probably expensive. That screen and that is probably expensive to make. I have to pay for something that I don't really want to use and I probably won't use. So that's kind of where my first little issue pops up. Roger, what do you think?
So I disagree with you because I think it's smart that they're doing it like this. I feel like when I watched this trailer and I tweeted this out immediately, this is what the gamepad was supposed to be. This is what the Wii U gamepad was supposed to be. Instead of being this plastic thing that was attached to your console while you're in the house, this is absolutely what it's supposed to be. It's something you have the option of playing on the go if you want to play console experiences on the go, but you don't have to. So to bring it up as a complaint like, oh, I don't want, and I understand the pricing thing, fine, but that's a whole nother discussion, and we can't even talk about it until the pricing's revealed. So, which by the way, I guess we'll talk about this right now before I get into my overall thoughts. What do you think the pricing's going to be? Because I'm guessing $299 is what it's going to be. I can't see it going more than $299.
I'm going to say I think there's going to be bundles. I don't know if there's really going to be one specific thing. I think this will have two bundles.
Okay.
I think one of them will be $3. I think one of them will be $350.
Okay, I can see that. All right, back to what I was saying now. But I think both of those are perfectly reasonable. I think that's fine for a brand new console, brand new system. I mean, people are paying $500 something for PlayStation VR now, so that's fine. One thing I will say about it though is I think having the ability to play, because for someone like me who travels all the time, I'm constantly going to conventions, going to different events. A A lot of the time I don't drive. I'll like take an Uber or I'll like, go on a train. I'm constantly in places where I can't have my console games with me, but I want to be able to play my console games. And for me, this system is exactly what I've always wanted. And I liked this back when we were hearing the initial leaks about the NX. I thought it was a really cool concept. And I was worried because I thought, the system's probably going to be ugly. Like, the system's not going to look good if this is what the case is. It's going to have these split controllers. It's not going to look good. No, man. The Switch is sleek. This is a beautiful system. I tweeted this out as well. Like, I was getting vibes from when they first initially revealed the Black Wii back in, like, 2004. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay, so when the Black Wii came out in 2009, there were these awesome ad campaigns in Japan with like these really cool, hip, unique looking like little apartments and places where like the Wii was set up, and I was getting so many of those vibes from looking at the marketing for the Switch. And when I was watching through this trailer and I was seeing the games that they were playing on the go, Skyrim in particular jumped out at me, and that's a whole other discussion with third parties. But when I saw Skyrim on a plane, Skyrim on a cartridge on a plane, though they're calling them game cards, they're not really cartridges, they're game cards like a 3DS thing. That's unbelievable to me. That's a crazy new thing that I didn't have before, and I'm looking forward to trying that out. So, yeah, overall, I think I love a lot of the features in the system. I love that it has a headphone jack. Like, the new iPhone doesn't have a headphone jack, so I'm glad it has a headphone jack. And I'm glad it uses cards. I think I mentioned this when we did our earlier discussions as well. I think the game cards are a really nice thing to have. I prefer them to discs. I always have. They take up less space. I think they're cool. I am so excited to be able to download stuff to the NX, like to the Switch. I'll be able to like download. I caught myself. I'll be able to download games from my virtual console or whatever to the Switch, and then just be able to pick up the whole system, and that's my console. It's all there with me, and then all you got to do is plug it into the dock, and then it uses that to project the stuff on the screen. But otherwise, it's like everything's there. I don't have to have multiple systems. I don't have to switch between having my 3DS and having my Wii U, because I'm like you. I love my 3DS, but I don't really play my 3DS on the go. Despite what I just said, I don't really do that. I
don't think most people do.
Yeah, I normally play my 3DS in my apartment. I spend a lot of time playing my 3DS in my apartment, more so even than I think my Wii U. However, the games I do play in the 3DS on the go, like when I'll make a point to take a 3DS on the go, will be something like Pokemon, which I think now there are like the possibilities are endless for Pokemon with this thing, because we'll be able to experience a full-on console Pokemon game with the power of a home console. But it'll be primarily for the go, and Pokemon companies already announced they're supporting it. There are a ton of companies that have already announced they're supporting it. And again, I think just based on the look alone, this is something I need to have day one. I need to. It's beautiful to me. And also, I love the name. I think Switch is a really good name because it immediately lets you know what it's all about. Like, there's nothing you have to get. Like, with Wii U, that was just a weird, bad name. It was like, what's the U part? Is this like an add-on for the Wii? With this, it's immediately, first off, it's Nintendo. They dropped the Wii branding entirely. And two, it's the Switch. What does it do? It switches. It goes from a handheld, and then it goes to being a console. It's great. I love the name.
Yeah, I mean, the name doesn't, I don't care. It's a name. It's not a particularly, it's not a sexy name. It's not something that makes you think. It's just a name. I don't think it's something like the Wii, the original Wii, not the Wii U. I'm talking like the original Wii name. It was something that people thought was ridiculous, but it was something that instantly stood out. I don't think Nintendo Switch stands out, but it gets the job done, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be something that's detrimental to Nintendo's success like the Wii U was. The name alone hurt Nintendo because of how ridiculously stupid that was to call it. But yeah, I mean, just going back a little bit, I can see your perspective and others' perspective who want to game on the go. You know, you want to be able to take the game with you and all that. However, I think that it's fair to also say, okay, well, I get it. If somebody doesn't want to play video games on the go, then yeah, that's going to be something that is not appealing to them, and that is going to be a little bit of a problem because they're buying something, they're being forced to buy something that they're not really going to use. So, I mean, this thing, when I buy the Nintendo Switch, I am paying for a big feature that I won't really use. And so I know it's not going to happen probably, but if there's a Nintendo Switch bundle that is literally just, okay, you don't get the screen, you just play this on your home, on your TV, that will be the one that I go with because I'll save money and I won't have to pay for something that I won't use.
Yeah.
So I see your perspective, and I see the perspective of people who do want to play those games on the go. I personally feel that we've kind of gotten off track with handheld gaming the way that it used to be. You know, the Game Boy Advance, those were mostly like really simple games. The Game Boy Advance, those were like NES
Well,
and Super Nintendo
you say
games.
that, but then like I'd be playing Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and the Advance Wars games, and like those aren't necessarily simple games. They're pretty. There's a lot of stuff.
But they
involved
really
with them.
pick up and play. I mean, compare that to like Smash Brothers 4 on the 3DS. That's like a legit home console experience on the go. That's what
I think that's the thing.
To.
Mark McD from 8.4, they do like localization for Xenoblade. They work with Nintendo all the time. They have a great podcast, 8.4 Play. He tweeted out earlier today, portable console gaming is dead. Long live portable console gaming. Like with console gaming being
But
at the hyphen.
is there a market?
Yeah, I totally. Because I think it's the same market, I think, for people who want to be able to play those games on the go, but don't want to necessarily, they want to have like a deeper, richer, portable experience, and that really doesn't exist anymore. And it's not going to exist beyond 2018. They said they're going to stop making 3DS games after 2018. So the market might not be there that first year, but I think ultimately it's kind of future-proofing the system, and I really like it.
Well, here's my problem, though. You know, this isn't the first time that we've seen a company try to take home console experiences and put them in the palm of your hands on the go. This is stuff that Sony has tried. Now, granted, not in the same way, but they have tried with the PSP was kind of that back at the time. They're trying to give you like PlayStation 2 quality graphics and games on the go. Didn't really work out so well. Same thing with the Vita. The Vita has some gorgeous games that have a lot of power behind them.
Yeah.
Didn't work out so well.
Here's my argument for that, though. Here's my argument. What's the argument? They're not Nintendo IPs. That's it. Like that's my big, and that's a huge argument.
Nintendo
to make.
IPs,
Like
Nintendo IPs alone don't sell them.
Splatoon on the plane, man.
You won't play Splatoon on the plane because you need an online connection.
I will absolutely play Splatoon on the plane to get new gear or to get whatever.
You're gonna play Splatoon. When you play Splatoon, how often do you play not online?
No, I mean, yeah, but okay, that's a good point. Yeah, there's nothing. You have to play online, but we don't know what that game entails. And I don't know. Regardless,
in other words, let's say this. I'll bail you out on this. Let's say they need to develop the next Splatoon with the ability to do stuff while you're on the plane. There needs to be one-player stuff to do in Splatoon.
Okay. Yeah. But I think that goes to all the games as a whole, which is why I'm excited, is that now that they're developing for one system, that they're going to be iterating on these games, and that they'll have different functionality for when you're playing on the go versus when you're playing at home. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, so here's, people give me a lot of crap for hating Nintendo, and Josh is so negative. No, I'm being honest. Would you rather me be, I'm not being, like I said earlier, 10 years of my life has been dedicated to doing this. This December, I will have been covering Nintendo games for 10 years. I'm not rooting against this company. I'm rooting for them. But I'm also not going to say, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever, when I just don't feel that way. I don't think it's bad. I'm not saying this is the death of Nintendo, this is horrible. But what I am saying is that I don't know if this is something new and unique enough, and I don't know if this is an idea that hasn't failed before, because in many ways it has. Like I said, with Sony's attempts to do this, it failed big time. And so I don't know. I just don't know if people want to play.
I will say this, based on looking down and this is all anecdotal, but looking down my Facebook feed and looking down
I've seen
Twitter
this,
feed,
trust me.
Yeah. And looking down my Facebook and Twitter feed today, there are people who I have not seen play a video game in years who recently got back into it because of Pokemon Go and are now like, oh, there's a new Pokemon game coming out. This is cool. I might get a 3DS. Who saw this and are like, wow, I want this. I need this immediately. And that did not happen with the Wii U. That mainstream, immediate, like, takeover of the system did not happen with the Wii U at all. Like, they were like, what is this? We're confused. That has not happened. People who don't normally play games are seeing this and going, this is awesome. And a lot of hardcore gamers are as well. Like, if it's cheap and easy to port old games, quote unquote, to this system, it's things like Skyrim, or if they take like other multi-platform games that, didn't sell well on the Wii U because it's like, well, it's a home console. You've already played on other home consoles before. But if it has the functionality to play it on the go, that's going to give new life to a lot of those games, I feel like.
So before we start jumping into the games...
one other thing I want to bring up too. Because of how Nintendo works with the third parties, Skyrim is going to have like the Monado, or it's going to have the Master Sword in it or something. And that alone,
just like
it's going to be
just
badass.
like Bayonetta, it's not going to do anything.
But Bayonetta was awesome, and it was cool to have it in there. So
Did it sell well? Did Bayonetta sell well though?
no,
Just
but it's
tacking
because the
in
Wii. No,
Mario's
but Bayonetta.
hat and
No,
Princess
but
Peach's
okay.
dress
Be
doesn't
fair
sell.
though, John. Bayonetta 2 did not sell well. First off, the original Bayonetta didn't sell well on PS3 or Xbox. That wasn't a huge financial success. That's why they had to like go to Nintendo to fund Bayonetta 2. And then Bayonetta 2 didn't sell well because it was on the Wii U. That's why, like, and I'm sure there'll be a Bayonetta 3 on this. I'm not even like, I'm sure that's gonna.
I think you're putting a little bit too much faith in the Nintendo brand, which as of recently hasn't been as strong as people assume.
Here's why though.
Slapping Mario or Star Fox into something doesn't sell it.
I know, but here's why I also have faith in it. Is I saw the list of third parties who are behind this now. And
yeah, I think they copy and pasted that from when they showed the Wii U. They always do. They always show these big lists of the company titles, and then they never support it.
They absolutely didn't, because there's stuff like From Software and Marvelous that's in there, which is like the Dark Souls company. Dude, Dark Souls on the Switch would be sick. Like, I'm not.
Didn't they have a Dark Souls game on Wii U?
No, that could have been amazing. They never did it. That would have been.
There was something like that when the Wii U was announced.
Functionality. Nope, it was not Dark Souls. They never made a Darksiders or whatever, that garbage THQ game or whatever. Not Dark Souls. No.
Oh,
100%.
Well, here's the deal. Let's be real.
Wait, but this is important. This is very important, which is that because it's only going to be one system, because it's not going to be a handheld and a console, those third parties are going to be much more likely to develop games, because they would have otherwise just gone, oh, we'll make a side project for 3DS, forget the Wii U. They can't do that anymore. If they want to support Nintendo or they want to put a game on a Nintendo system, they'll make it for one system. And they'll find a way to make it cool on the go and make it portable, or they'll just port over a game, because this is clearly a powerful system. It's like, I was reading the specs off of Emily's Twitter this morning. It's pretty powerful. It's more powerful than I expected it to be. They can easily port stuff over day and date and then have it on the Switch, and people will want that. And I think it's early enough in this console life cycle where now PS4 is just now hitting its stride. They're releasing the PS4 Pro or the Scorpio or whatever to like have higher spec stuff, but ultimately these third parties are still developing these games for the baseline Xbox One and PS4. Those games will come to the Switch. They'll be better because you can play them on the go, and that'll be that.
I don't know that the audience that is really chomping at the bit to get the latest Call of Duty, the latest Assassin's Creed, the latest this and that, the darker, more mature games, I don't really think that they care to play those games on the go. They want to play them online, they want to play them in their bedrooms, and they want to play it on a TV, they want to be sitting back. I don't think the audience for those games will care about the idea of playing it on the go.
I agree with you with like the Call of Duty audience and the Madden audience. Maybe not the Madden. I'll take that back. I'll take the sports part. But like the Call of Duty audience, I agree with you. I think this might not be for them. But for someone like me, who likes games on other systems that aren't just Nintendo, who likes playing things like Skyrim or playing things like Uncharted or Burning Blood or whatever, all the stuff that Overwatch, things I play on PS4, if I have the potential to play a game like that, which is a solid third-party game, that's not just like whatever Call of Duty that they just poop out every year, but something that's like a good, solid, single-player, third-party experience, and I'll be able to play it now on a Nintendo system, that's awesome.
Here's the deal, though. Of course, third-party games on a Nintendo system would be awesome, but it all comes down to if they ever happen. And I want to point something out very important, because people have, I guess, a short memory, and they don't remember that at one point, and this is an actual article I pulled up, right. Nintendo said that there are 430 Nintendo 3DS and then 350 Wii U developers. They said 350 companies are developing Wii U products, Wii U games in 2014. They showed Activision, Atlas, Bandai Namco Games, Capcom, Konami, EA, Sega, all of these. They had the typical big thing with all the companies' logos. Level 5 is all there, Square Enix. And then what happened? Well, Nintendo didn't make the system a success, and third parties are always going to wait for Nintendo to make it a success. That's why the Wii had a little bit of third-party support, because Nintendo was such a big success, they couldn't ignore it. They had to. You couldn't not develop for the Wii. They need to do the same thing with Nintendo Switch. Nintendo is the grandmaster of the parade, and people aren't going to want to build a float if Nintendo's not leading that parade. So Nintendo has to have the big, amazing games there at launch and continuing on every month if they think third parties are going to come and make games for it. That's how it's going to happen. Third parties are not on a Nintendo system ever going to be the reason it is a success. It's going to be the other way around.
100% agree, always. And I think that's
and we've seen this song and dance a lot.
But this is why I liked this trailer and why I liked this. And you're going into a really good topic, and I'm just going to segue right now, which is into the launch and into the games that are there at the beginning of the console. Wii U did not have this. Wii U had a new Super Mario Bros. U game and a bunch of third-party ports. Like, that is what they had at Wii U at launch. And sure, third parties were like, yeah, whatever, we're behind the Wii U, whatever. And EA said unprecedented support. But we all know the story about how EA was going to do the online. They said no, and then they dropped all support because they were big crybabies. But that's a whole different topic for a different day. But with the Switch in particular, seeing right off the bat Mario, Zelda, Splatoon, Mario Kart, Skyrim, and NBA. That is huge. That is huge. To have a Mario and a Zelda and a Splatoon at launch. And even if the Mario Kart support, whatever, and some of the third-party games are ports, that's fine. But they have that at launch. And that was not there for as many times as you want to argue this, that was not there for Wii U. Wii U had Nintendo Land packed in, which was whatever. Pikmin 3, which got delayed till way later, till the spring, which was supposed to be a launch game. And then Mario, the Mario U, which, it had Miiverse functionality or whatever, but it was not, in my opinion, a real Mario game. It was a whatever 2D rushed out to have a Mario game at launch game. This is a real
New Super Mario Brothers
game. Right.
New Super Mario Bros. U is complete garbage, and it is the definition of not caring about a video game when you're developing it. So let's talk about those games, okay?
Yes.
Let's start off with, we'll end with the new Mario game, because that's one we'll talk probably a lot about. Because I'm actually, I'm excited about that. Mario Kart. Let me just go off on a little rant here, if I may.
Okay.
Oh my God. It has been 2 years since Mario Kart 8 wrapped up development. Now, yes, they did do DLC, but the DLC was really just track design. It wasn't a matter of actually configuring an entire new game. So it was probably ready and finished long before we got the final DLC pack. They have had a long time to come up with ideas for a new Mario Kart, to make a new engine, to make a new, fresh Mario Kart experience. And this is what we get. Something that seems to be a port of Mario Kart 8 from the Wii U. People are going to see that. They're going to know. Fans are going to be like, oh my God, this is lazy. It's lazy. It's like the new Super Mario Brothers treatment for Mario Kart. And granted, before you leave the comment, before anybody tells me this, I know this is just an early look at it. However, if what you're going to show me as the first thing with the next Mario Kart is something that looks like a port of Mario Kart 8, don't do it. Don't show me. They couldn't even be bothered to put in a new character that we've never even seen before. The only thing that's different is King Boo, and you can hold 2 items. Well, first of all, King Boo, okay, we've already had King Boo in Mario Kart before. And 2 items, that's been done as well. It was done in Double Dash, and it was even done in games like Mario Kart Wii, because in Mario Kart Wii, you could get an item, hold it behind you, and then get another item. So you could have 2 items in that as well. So right now, the 2 things that are apparently new in Mario Kart for the Switch are 2 things that were already in the series. So it's not exciting.
Okay, so I kind of agree with you, but I also kind of really disagree with you because
what could you possibly disagree with? That's true.
Let me tell you.
You disagree with truth.
No, not necessarily. What I'm saying is that I think it's smart for them to port Mario Kart and have it there at launch to have because it's not like
we don't know that it's
fake
launch.
Well, it's gonna be. I mean, they showed it right there. If it wasn't launched, then it's gonna be a new Mario game. This is clearly gonna be something that they're rushing out to have at launch, so they have a Mario Kart game.
Yeah,
at
but
launch,
think
and then
about
they're
that rushing out.
But no,
to
listen to what I'm gonna say
it.
though, Mr. Trump. All right, so listen. All right, listen. To what
Thank you.
I'm
I take that as a huge compliment. Yes, I do care about
piece of
America, and I care about
garbage.
Nintendo
Stop.
fans. Thank you very much.
So listen, no, but with this Mario Kart, right? If they're going to release a Mario Kart game at launch, and they just want to get a port out there. Even though I say rush, I don't necessarily mean rush. What I'm saying is they're getting the infrastructure of Mario Kart 8 out there. I am at the point, and I think a lot of people agree with me as well, especially if the Switch isn't like crazy more powerful than the Wii U. It's just like about the same level of Xbox. Yeah, it's about the level of Xbox One, PS4, whatever. So if that's the case, you don't really need to overhaul the engine. What you need to do is add more modes, add more characters, add more tracks. Build.
Where were they? Where were they?
Well, let me tell you, they're not going to show all of it right away. They showed a new character and they showed a new thing, which is the two. They did. They showed King Boo, but whatever.
That's not a new character.
Okay, whatever. But they showed King Boo and they showed the 2 item thing. And those are both 2 little features that they wanted to tease really quickly. This is a preview. It's a 3-minute video. They're not showing the full rundown of what's in Mario Kart. I would be shocked if they don't have like battle mode and all these other weird little Mario Kart modes that they added to bring back to this version of the game alongside a slew of new characters and that they're putting this out at launch. if they're not going to make a full-on Mario Kart 9 later on, and they're putting this out at launch to have a Mario Kart.
Oh my God, you think they're going to do 2 Mario Karts on this?
Well, that's why I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying then, is if that's not the case, then I could see them putting this out and then building upon it like an infrastructure and making it where it's just the Mario Kart game for the Switch that they keep adding stuff for. I don't need a new engine for Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8's beautiful. Give me new tracks. Give me more Nintendo characters. Give me, like you said, the 2-item thing. That's cool. Give me new modes. That's what I want to see from this. And I did not write this off just by seeing that. In fact, I was like kind of happy that there even was a new character or a new thing because I expected it to be a straight port of Mario Kart 8 just on the new system. That's what I expected.
That's how minimal your expectations are for Nintendo to be. That's like going to a hurdles competition and plotting somebody that walks over a rock.
For a launch Mario Kart on a system that has Mario, Zelda, and Splatoon at launch, that's pretty much what I expected.
Here's what I would prefer. You make a new game.
They could
is that insanity now? Is it crazy for people to say make a new game? Is that asking too much?
But they could make enough content to make it like a new game. Like people don't want to keep buying new iterations of games when it's just.
But that's what this is.
New mode. No, it's not. Like
you just said, this is just going to be new modes and stuff, and it's going to be the same engine, and that's fine.
I'm saying that's what I want. Are you hearing what I'm saying? That's what I want. I think that's what a lot of people want too. People buy Overwatch. They like the fact that like now they're adding new characters, they're adding new modes, and it's going to be this game that you can play for like 10 years. That's
right, but they didn't buy Overwatch twice. We will have bought Mario Kart 8 twice.
They're not going to buy it twice. They're going to buy the one game. When you buy the Switch, it'll be one Mario Kart game, and they're going to keep adding stuff to it. And then you'll download more DLC if you want it, but it'll be that. They'll have that at launch. It'll be a baseline, whatever level Mario Kart. They'll have a couple new things, and they can keep iterating on it. I don't want them to make a full-on new Mario Kart. If they could just do this, add a couple new modes to it, and then add more DLC and a lot more stuff along the way over the course of the system. That's fine. I'd rather they do that and make it a platform as opposed to releasing like 3 new Mario Karts over the course of the system. I don't want that. I actively don't want that. And I think that's the smart thing.
Here's the difference between making Mario Kart a platform and flat out being lazy and throwing out a port that has minor improvements over Mario Kart 8.
But we've seen
making
3
it a
seconds.
platform is great.
Seconds.
What?
We've seen 3 seconds of this game. It's not
right, but here's the deal. In that 3 seconds, they couldn't be bothered to show the characters racing in a new track. In 2 years, let's say a year they were working on this. In 1 year, they couldn't get their designers to put up one new track. 20 people working on designers. They
didn't want new stuff to overshadow the reveal of the Switch, dude.
So they wanted old stuff to overshadow the excitement of a new system.
The thing is, they're not like going. They want to get more of a mainstream audience. That mainstream audience I told you that's on Twitter saying this is cool. That's what they want to get again. And those people aren't going to immediately relate to the battle mode. They're going to relate to Mario Kart, just seeing classic characters racing on a track. They're not. The majority of people seeing this are not thinking what we're thinking, which is that a new track? Is that a new character? There's 2 items, whatever. That's us. That's it's Rogersbase, BitBlock, Game Explain. All the people who break this down for a living, when we're looking at this and we're going, okay, what are all the new things they added? For the majority, for the mainstream, they just go, oh, it's a Mario Kart on this new system, and it'll be there at launch. Awesome. That's a game that I want to pick up. Like, they're not looking at it like from the sense of, oh, it's just a port that they brought from the old system.
Okay, but here's my argument to that.
Mario Kart. Okay.
You are Rogersbase. So why aren't you saying, oh my God, it's just a port of the old track? Because you know this is the old thing. So I get it that the mainstream audience might not know. They don't care. They might not know.
But this Mario Kart game is not what I'm most... I know, but this Mario Kart game is not why I want this system. Like, this Mario Kart game, I want them to add new stuff, but along the way, I'm not going to care about Mario Kart at launch unless they add something really cool. But the people who have been away from Nintendo for a long time need that solid foundation at launch. They have not had that at launch for a long time. And Mario, Zelda, Mario Kart, and Splatoon is a formula for success. And we knew already, we had heard the rumors for a long time that they were working on potential ports for Mario Kart, Mario Maker, Splatoon, and Smash Brothers. We heard this from a very long time ago. Emily Rogers reported on it. I'm pretty sure we even did a discussion on it when we heard that news as well. This is what we expected. So for you to be disappointed after knowing the expectation that it was gonna probably be a port and that new stuff would be coming along the way is daft when this is a reveal of a new system and there's lots of other stuff that was shown.
We never... first of all, I don't think there was ever a discussion of Mario Kart 8 being a port. It was Smash Brothers, and it was like, oh, they're going to combine the Wii U and the 3DS.
It was Smash and Splatoon with the possibility of Mario Kart and Mario Maker.
I never heard Mario Kart.
Well...
Here's my bottom line on this.
Short-term memory, then.
Here's my bottom line on this.
Okay.
You can say anything you want. Listen, to quote the good man, it's all words, to quote Mr. Trump. But at the end of the day, you are Nintendo, and you should have artistic integrity. You should have integrity as designers and as a amazing video game company, that you're not going to release the same damn game on a brand new system and expect it to really move the system.
But it's
You
also
should
not the same
you should
game,
want
bro.
new characters. You should want new items. You should want new modes. You should want all new tracks. It's ridiculous that the first thing they showed us with this Mario Kart game is an old track and something that looks so similar. Even the interface around the hub thing, it's all the same.
You don't
From
want-
you
do
can
you
say what you
want
want,
a
but from an
revolution?
artistic standpoint, you gotta be ashamed of that. You gotta actually care more about that. And that's the Nintendo I love, and I'm waiting for that Nintendo to sprout back up and kick some ass.
I have a
But right
feeling
now
when
I
you
don't see it.
Yeah, I have a feeling when you see the final version of whatever this Mario Kart
That-
is,
there you go,
even if
great.
it's a port, I have a feeling you will change your mind.
Show me a battle mode, show me a mission mode, show me a bunch of new characters. Improve the physics too, by the way. I don't think Mario Kart 8 has the greatest physics, especially when you're trying to battle with those physics. They kind of suck. Just the feeling of the racing, I think, could be improved. Do all that, but what I'm saying is, if you're not ready to show us something that's impressive, don't even show it to us. Or if you're going to show us that, in big, bold font, put, not a real game, work in progress, not final game. But they didn't. So what I'm going by is what they showed us. And if this is indicative of what Mario Kart's going to be like on this system, then, oh my God, it's the same thing. They even have the Koopalings in there. Like, my God, somebody put a bullet through the Koopalings' heads already. I'm so tired of looking at them.
I am
things.
sure we've been talking for like 15 minutes about Mario Kart. We got
to
move
move
the
on
other
from
games.
Mario
It's
Kart.
like
Let's
not
move on to
Mario
Mario
Kart. Yeah. It made for a good debate between us, though. But it's, I'm sure.
I'm
people are
done with
ready
Mario.
to
We
break
both
their
got our
computer.
points across
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
See, this is why we need Nintendo. Nintendo, where are you?
Right.
We need a moderator. So what else did they show? They showed an NBA game, which that was really great. That was my favorite part in the whole entire
Shut up.
trailer.
Like,
'cause
don't
they've
even.
got
Okay,
these-
don't be trolly. Don't.
No, they've got people playing real basketball, enjoying each other's company. They're getting exercise. They're playing real basketball, and they all stop to go play fake basketball on a TV screen, or not even a TV screen, a little controller screen. That's gonna happen. That's definitely gonna happen in real life. Come on.
No, it was just it was a cool setting for the trailer. They're not. I don't think they actually expect people to do that in real life. So
But it was cheese.
I think the rooftop thing they expect people to do, but we'll get to that when we get to Mario. But
What else did they show? They showed the NBA game.
showed NBA. They
of
showed
course, Mario Kart.
Skyrim, which is huge. That Bethesda is back.
Was that genuinely Skyrim, or was that just something
That was
made to look like
Skyrim.
it?
That was definitely because Bethesda tweeted out and Nintendo of America retweeted that they were honored to now be working once again with Nintendo. That's huge. Like, I know you don't play those types of games normally, but I'm like, that's as big as Square Enix saying we're back in the system again. Like, and we already know Square's back in the system because they already talked about how they're bringing the next Dragon Quest to the system, and there already have been rumblings that they're bringing 15 and the 7 game, the 7 HD remake or whatever to it. So right there, having Square and Bethesda, that's huge. That's huge, and that's not, and that's like not even near the level of third-party support that Wii U had. That's so much better.
Well, let me ask this: I don't play Skyrim, so I'll be
Yes.
the first to say I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Did that look like something fresh and new, or did it have the Mario Kart syndrome to where it was like, oh, this is the same thing we already saw?
It looked like Skyrim, but to be fair, I've never played Skyrim on a portable, and that's a game I would totally love to play on portable because it's long and there's like a lot of grinding in it, and there's a lot of little side quests. I would love to play that on a portable. It's open world, just like Breath of the Wild's going to be. Which, by the way, new footage of Breath of the Wild looked pretty good. The little bit we saw.
Yeah,
it was
the big
just
fat
yeah.
bokoblin. Yeah,
Yep.
that was pretty good.
Yep.
That is a game I will never play on the go. I might play some of them on the go if I'm forced to buy the screen controller,
Yeah.
but I will never play a game as
I was
big
gonna say.
and
I
epic
was gonna
as
say.
Zelda.
I think once you really get into it, you might play it on the go. But I know you, and I know you're weird about stuff, and you're right. You probably never will.
Well, why wouldn't you want to
But I
play
know
this
lots
gorgeous
and lots of
big
people-
adventure on your TV screen?
Because if you're in the middle, so the idea is that you're in the middle of playing the game and you're on your couch, and you can just go, oh, I got to go do something real quick. Here, let me just pick up the system. You grab it, and then you can play the rest on the go, finish up what you're doing, then you'll have it with you. Then you plug it back in and pick up where you left off when you were out. Like, I think that's cool.
I
love,
this-
oh my God, by the way, I love the little stand thing that comes out of the back where you can put it on like a tray table on an airplane. I love that. I love that. It's a random little thing, but I love it.
I have this crazy idea. Follow me on this. It's okay to not play video games sometime.
Of course.
And if you gotta go do something, or you gotta go walk your dog, or you're gonna go play basketball, it's okay to not play a video game.
Of course.
And this whole trailer is more or less saying the opposite. Like,
Because
don't you
but
hate when
they're
real
speaking to
life
the
has to
audience-
stop you from
right,
playing
but
Mario?
They're speaking to the audience that wants this. They're speaking to the audience that wants this, and there's a lot of people who want this. We live in the generation
I'll
where
take your
nobody
word
can be
for it.
without their phones. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Well,
it's-
your phone is a different thing. Your phone is a computer in your hands. This is still a game console.
I don't know.
And
All
this,
right,
by
let's
the
move on
way,
real
this
quick.
does have competition with mobile, whether Nintendo wants to say or not. The games will be phenomenally better. However, it's
Yeah.
still video games on the go. So this is Nintendo just saying, hey, we're
But that's
really
the
going
thing,
to take on mobile
it's
gaming.
not just that, though. If it was just that...
Well,
then I would
you can
understand,
dock
but
it,
it's
of
not. You
course,
can
but
play
I'm
it at-
saying
yeah, play it
in
at
that-
home. It's a console. You're playing
in
at
that
home. It's a
field,
console.
in the field of, hey, video games on the go, this is competing with mobile.
Maybe. But
I'm wondering how
list-
this is gonna-
Just looking at this list. I'm looking at this list right now of games of partners coming to the Switch, and there are so many companies on here that have never said they will ever work with Nintendo before, and have been actively working against. And so to see like Bethesda, From Software, Epic, like to see Epic Games on here, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
I'll
Cryware?
I'll get excited.
come
I'll get
on,
excited when they put out a game that sells on the system.
We'll see.
That's when I'll say good job. This is new. This is it. Nintendo nailed it. They got third-party support.
All right.
But until then, this is all words. We've seen this before. We've seen the big screens with all the logos on it before, and people got excited, and then nothing happens. So hey, I'm not rooting against it. Like I said, I'd love for this to be a huge success. I need and want that. But at the same time, I'm going to be real, and I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm right about everything I'm saying, but I'm just saying that I'm being honest. I'm being honest.
Okay.
And I don't know. I don't know about this. I would love for this to be... You know what I would love for this to be? And feel free to quote me on this,
Yes.
anybody. I would love for this to be the moment that Nintendo kicked mobile gaming square in its dick and said, look at us. You can play video games on the go, and they don't just have to be tiny little pay-to-play experiences. I'd love for this to happen. I'd love for Nintendo to just be like, oh my god, Nintendo's actually destroying the mobile game industry. I'd love that. I don't know that I see that happening, but I'd love to see that happen.
I'm gonna actually bring up a negative, which is
Thank
something
God,
that I
I'm
think
ready
you
for
need.
this.
Yeah, so this is something that I think could be a mistake. And
Okay.
we already know that Nintendo's developing games for 3DS through to 2018, which I understand because the 3DS is a successful system. They want to make sure they have money. They want to, keep developing for a system that has a huge install base and they can keep making games. However,
A lot will be ports, or a lot of them will be ports probably, but that's nothing wrong with that. From Wii U.
Probably. But I don't want them to continue developing, past 2017. Like going into 2018, if they're stopping at the beginning of 2018, fine. But I really don't want them developing games for 3DS after that because I think that does take away from this. And by forcing people to buy something that is both a console and a handheld, that will force that audience to get this new system, to be the next 3DS, to be the next portable system. Then it will be a success. But I think if they continue really making games for the portable while the Switch is still out there, that might cause problems for them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I kind of feel the same way with all of Nintendo's systems, unless it's like I don't know of a Nintendo system, other than maybe the 3DS and the DS, where it was still going very, very strongly when it was time to move on to the next machine.
Right.
So I am totally in favor, especially with the Wii U. I mean, my God, I've been ready to move on from the Wii U since 2012. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But for a while now, for definitely at least a good year, I've been like, oh boy, when's the next thing coming? So yeah, I agree that they shouldn't be supporting it with genuine efforts for a much longer time when it comes to 3DS or Wii U. I think they're doing the right thing though with 3DS, where they have ports of Wii U games. Great. That's a good idea. Go with that. Yeah. Don't make like the next big interesting Mario or Star Fox or something on the 3DS. I don't see them doing that though.
One thing we almost missed talking about this when we were talking about the system parts earlier. Two things about the system that I also think
how
are
tiny
really
it is.
Good. Well, I like that actually because then it's like something I could easily carry. But that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say one, it's region free. It's been reported now that it's region free, which is awesome. Because if they ever end up making a Captain Rainbow 2 exclusive for Japan, you'll be able to play it in America, even if they don't bring it over. So localization is no longer an issue. And the other big thing that I love about it is that you might be able to use this as a media player. And I was thinking like, yeah, okay, we're seeing this in terms of like, playing on the go. We're playing, like playing the Zelda game and then picking it up and then going on the train or whatever and continuing playing Zelda. But what if I'm like watching a Netflix show and I just pick it up and I'm like, oh, I want to see the end of this. And I take it while I'm on the bus and I don't even have to like switch tablets, like, because I have my iPad, I got my computer, I got everything. You could just pick up where you left off. But if I could literally pick up where I left off, pick up my system, and carry that with me, this might be kind of cool as a media player too.
So yeah, I totally agree, and you bring up a good point that I've always felt pretty strongly about with the Wii U generation. I was really excited about how the Wii would offer a bunch of different channels. We would get them, maybe 2 a year, and one of them would be like, oh, here's the photo channel. It's a little cute photo app thing. So I would love for Nintendo with the Switch, because this is this like kind of like an iPad kind of device that you take with you, to actually have something where I can put my photos on it and show my photos on it, or my movies, or, maybe have Netflix on it and have, just various different types of unique apps.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely going to be an area that they can really take advantage of.
I think we talked about this last week, if I'm not mistaken, but I would love to see like the channels from the Wii come back. I loved all those little weird channels from the Wii.
Yeah, everybody votes, and the Check Me Out channel where you can get me. Yeah.
I'm really curious about what the OS for this thing is going to look like. Like, I really want to know what the home screen for this looks like. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally. But let's go back to the controllers themselves. We didn't really talk a lot about the controllers and the machine. So we talked about like the look. Let's talk specifically about the controllers. Though one of the things that I have noticed people talking about, and I am worried about it myself, is that the controllers that you detach from the screen are incredibly tiny. Considerably smaller than a Wii remote, actually. It looks like it's a good 1.5 inches smaller than a Wii remote, and the Wii remote was pretty small. Is it possible that maybe Nintendo will release a Western version of those? Because in Japan, that might be the right size. Japan likes the smaller things, smaller products. I mean, look at the Famicom. That has really small controllers.
Yeah.
I
mean, I do.
How do you feel about that? Are they too small?
I do think it's possible. No, I don't think they're too small. I like them like that. I think they're fine for those little mini controllers, because I'm never going to play it like that. I'm going to play it when they're connected. Like, rarely, I think, will I put it down on the tray table, even though I think it's a cool concept. I don't think I'll ever really, put it on the tray table and play a game with just the two small controllers. I'll probably have it where I'm holding the whole thing, just because I like having it in my hand. And then when I'm playing at home, I'll play with that awesome regular controller, that cool whatever they call it, the Shift Pro or what? It's not Shift. I keep forgetting the name. It's Switch, the Switch Pad Pro or whatever. I like that. I really like the standard controller, so I'll probably play with that when I'm at home.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally, I feel that they do seem maybe a little bit too small. Maybe by the time this actually gets manufactured, Nintendo makes them a little bigger. Obviously, the problem there is you want it to look right on the screen. So if you make them bigger, then you got the problem of oh, these just look weird now.
Well, I kind of think they might end up reiterating on this. If they release this and it's a success this first year, and they go, oh man, the Switch is really doing really doing well, let's just make a bigger version. We'll just release a bigger version. I could see them doing that, and they would make everything
Switch
bigger.
XL.
They'd make they would make the Switch XL, exactly, where it's a bigger screen, and because they don't have see, that's the thing, is you joked, you just said that, but they don't have a handheld anymore. There's not going to be a handheld anymore. There's not a handheld, there's not a portable. It's this. There's just this. There's no console, there's no handheld, it's this. It's all this. So they could easily just make the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch XL. I could see that.
And one of the things also about the console that I noticed, and I'm really shocked to see Microsoft and Sony kind of taking Nintendo's idea and just doing it way better. Nintendo doesn't do any kind of colorful personal designs with their controllers and stuff so much anymore. You can customize an Xbox controller now. Hopefully, at some point, Nintendo Switch comes in a variety of colors or something, because it's just this gray, lifeless design. I'm not mad about that. I'm not complaining, but it's just weird that, Microsoft is giving you more options in terms of the design than Nintendo. And given the fact that we've seen faceplates with the new 3DS and stuff, I'm hoping that eventually there's some sort of, some Nintendo charm and personality into the color and the design of the controller and the, stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree that I think it'd be cool if they had options, but I know I'm never going to buy one other than the black one. I really like.
Well, that's
for
the
a
other
home
thing,
console, for something that's
multiple
sitting in my
controllers?
house. I want to have a black one. Yeah.
So here's the question. I genuinely don't know the answer to this. Maybe you know.
Mm-hmm.
I like to play games locally with friends a lot. We play Mario Kart locally and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do that with this? What do we do controller-wise? Because none of us are going to want to play Mario Kart with that tiny thing on its side.
Yeah, I mean, if you're at say you come over to my house, right, and you want to play Mario Kart, and we're at my house playing Mario Kart, you would just play using your Switch as a controller. You would have the full system.
But what if people come over that don't have, if I have 3 friends come over, they don't have Nintendo Switch, so how do we all play?
Controllers.
I have to buy controllers. So
yeah,
what
you'd
do
have
we get?
regular standard controllers, which we already saw in the trailer.
Right, so I'm gonna have basically those will be the main controllers to play
if you're
with?
playing at home, those would become the main controller. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about this, and I'm sure some people will disagree, but I'm actually disappointed that there doesn't seem to be any control gimmicks. There's no touchscreen, there's no motion control, there's no IR pointer for first-person shooters. It seems like we're really just getting back to this very basic way of playing games, and I understand that some people are going to be celebrating that. Personally, I don't really think it's something to celebrate totally. I think that there were legitimate improvements thanks to motion controls. Sports games, for example. First-person shooters. I can't play a first-person shooter with a dual analog stick after playing with the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. I can't go back to that. So is there a possibility that you can use a Wii Remote on this? Or is
Absolutely.
Nintendo just totally...
Yeah, I was going to bring up that there are 2 USB ports on the system, and Smash Brothers players already brought up, they clearly did that so you could have the GameCube adapter to play with the GameCube controller when you're playing Smash Brothers, in the future. I could see them doing the same thing if it's compatible with that. I think, it'll probably be compatible with Wii Remotes and Nunchucks if they want to make games that utilize that for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, I know people are, they're down on motion controls and gimmick stuff, but the Wii Remote and the Nunchuck did prove to be a much better control option than just a standard controller for quite a few games. And sometimes they didn't prove that. But like I said, for a first-person shooter, I can't play any other way now. It'll be downgrading hugely for me. So I'm really hoping that we have some sort of point-at-the-screen functionality to aim in a first-person shooter kind of a deal.
Well, it did look in the video that there looked to be a sensor bar. If you look at
really?
Yeah, it looked like during the part with the Breath of the Wild, you can kind of see like a sensor bar thing in the bottom. So I think and I can't imagine that it won't have motion control and the 2 little controller attachments on the side of it. I bet you those are probably you probably break them off and they're probably motion controllers.
Okay, well, let's hope. I hope for that. That would be...
I'd actually kind of be shocked if those weren't. I don't know if that's confirmed or not yet, but I'd be kind of shocked if they weren't. And if they aren't, then that's, again, not a huge deal. They'll just have the Wii Remotes and Nunchucks, which I'm sure will be compatible if they have a game that uses motion, so...
Yeah. I also noticed that it's really weird because you have the 2 pieces of the controller, the left side and the right side. When you detach it, you can hand it to a friend. They were playing Mario Kart with them in a car. One of I think it's the right side when you're looking at the controller, the right side of it with the main face buttons. The analog stick is not all the way to the bottom of it. It's like almost in the middle, which I think would be very uncomfortable to play a game that way, to where your analog stick's like in the middle of the controller next to the buttons. Whereas the left side would work, I think, because the analog stick is on the top. So you could have that on the side right next to your thumb. But this one looks like you'd really have to reach your thumb around to get it. But then again, these are very tiny. So I don't know. It just seems weird that like the placement of that analog stick, I think, won't be ideal. And whoever's using that is going to have the less comfortable experience.
Well, I'm wondering, because when you take this out on the go, I mean, presuming this system, you're able to like take it anywhere and you're able to like use the little controllers that break off. What if you just have a controller with you, like a regular, like one of the controllers you use at home? If this is the main system anyway, and you set it up like with one of the little, the little thing that sticks it on the back where you can put it on a tray table. If we're out somewhere and we don't have a TV and we want to use this thing, I can't imagine you can't just like bring a regular controller if it really, if you really think you're going to be doing that. The question is, how many times are you actually going to be doing that, and will that actually matter to you,
Right, yeah. Exactly.
But if you see yourself wanting to play for a long time, there's a lot of them. Yeah. So let's move on to something that I think is going to be a long discussion.
Okay.
And this is Mario, because I want to give the listeners a little taste of the idiocy that you threw at me on Facebook this morning. He immediately responded to me after I did my reaction. He wrote up. He said, "What do you think of the Switch?" I was telling him all this stuff. I think it looks cool. And I was like, "In real 3D Mario, this is awesome." And he's like, "Oh no, this is 3D World." And I have never been madder at someone and angrier at someone. It's clearly not 3D. This is the 3D Mario game that we've wanted, that you've been asking for. They give it to you, and you're upset about it? Like,
are you calling me ungrateful?
Yes, absolutely. In this one situation, sometimes I actually think you're justified. In this one situation, you are a massive crybaby. This is exactly what we've wanted for the longest time. This is a real, true 3D Mario game. Big environments. We saw the cool little like Day of the Dead town with the little cactus skeleton thing jumping around. We've got like the ruins where they're avoiding bullet bills. There's the planets in the background implying it could be a Galaxy 3, or I actually think it might be a Mario universe. I don't really know, but regardless, this is a full 3D Mario game. I am excited, and I cannot wait. I cannot tell you the last time that I was excited for a platformer Mario game. I have not been in a long, long time. So this is music to my ears and a feast of beauty to my eyes. So
So here's the deal. My first reaction to seeing it is because the way they showed it, it made it look like such a it almost seemed like it was like an on rails Mario game or something. Because they don't.
Yeah,
really
you said that, and you are an idiot. Like it is clearly not an on rails.
Because the person's not exploring, and just it's like this very quick footage, and it's like Mario's not even moving left or right. He's just kind of jumping forward, and I know it's not, but just my initial reaction was, wow, what was that even? What is even going on there? The first half of what they showed, footage-wise, they show very little. It's like maybe 10 seconds at most.
Someone did image stabilization on it, and I think the whole footage is, let me count it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, it's 5 seconds. Yeah, it's 5 seconds total.
5 seconds of footage total.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first area they showed, which is this like Spanish Day of the Dead kind of very colorful desert town, that looks cool. That's original. That's unique. It's got some NPCs in there that you look like you can talk to. Like you said, there's little, looks like a cactus man and a little skeleton guy. And they got sombreros and they're playing instruments as well, maracas, and one of them looks like he has like a little guitar or something. That area looks great. I mean, that looks so fun. And it's like, I'm questioning, like, can we go up on the buildings? Can Mario get up high on those buildings? And then there's ropes hanging across. Can Mario walk on ropes like he could in Sunshine? And it looks like you can explore a little bit in that area. Great. That excites me. The following footage, a lot less. The whole ruins thing just looks like the things that I don't like in modern 3D Mario games, where it's like, hey, it's an obstacle course. Make your way through the obstacle course. There's no exploring. Just make your way through the obstacle course. I could be wrong, obviously. That's like 2 seconds of footage. I'm not making any statements. I'm just saying that part didn't really impress me. Okay. I will say, though, there are 2 things that we noticed.
Yeah.
The first one is, in the first area when Mario's walking in the Spanish town, when he walks by an umbrella, a cursor pops up on it, like a lock-on cursor. And I don't know what that means. It could mean that Mario can grab that item. It could mean that Mario jumps on it or something.
Yeah, you can very briefly see it, but there's like arrows that are pointing down on the top of the umbrella. It's like purple arrows, yeah.
Yeah, and then they appear when Mario gets close to it, and then when he walks away, because they're not there at the very start of the footage.
Right.
And then when Mario gets by it, they appear. So maybe Mario can interact with a bunch of items or objects throughout the world. So
well, when I looked at that footage and you pointed that out to me before we started recording, I think it's probably like a jump icon, like, oh, jump on this, and maybe you bounce off the umbrella to get to like maybe the rooftops of those buildings or something like that.
Could be that, yeah. There's another trend that I've noticed throughout both areas they showed us, and this could be quite revealing to what happens in this game. There are crystal-like objects.
Yes.
In the Spanish town, they look like they're in front of the doors, like they're not supposed to be there. You can see them in the distance. And then in the ruins area, you can see them as well. Also worth noting, there is a heart as well that Mario can pick up. There's just a blatant heart icon, which might refill Mario's heart, his health. There are rings that you jump through, which is very strange for a Mario game.
And when I saw the rings, I was thinking maybe you lock on kind of like in Galaxy, and then you remember when you would get in those little star things and they would shoot you off to the distance? That's kind of what I thought. It's maybe like if he jumps into those rings that maybe he'll like float there for a bit and then you shake it and then he goes flying somewhere else.
Could be. Weirdly enough, they are hovering beyond the platform. So like if Mario jumped them, he would assumably die.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people saying this is Galaxy 3. The environments, just based on what we've seen so far, already look bigger than what we've seen in the Galaxy games with the little planetoids. So I don't necessarily think they would call it Galaxy, which is why I said earlier, I could see this being Mario Universe. I could see them making Super Mario Universe. And that the story is maybe something similar to Galaxy, where there's these planets and there's these crystallized things in the background that maybe have been taken away by Bowser. I don't know what the story is going to be, but it does have almost like a semi-futuristic vibe to it, while still having the charm of like a regular classic Mario 64 or Mario Sunshine environment.
Yeah, I mean, I do think this has tremendous potential to be the Mario game that I want. I want it to be big locations that allow you to explore, and I want it to be to where you go back to locations to do more, and they're not just trying to throw a bunch of them at once. Like 3D World, my complaint was like there was a whole bunch of different level themes, but there wasn't much substance, and they weren't well thought out, and it was really just make your way through the obstacle and jump on the flagpole.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's not the case with this. There's also a beacon for some reason in the distance, like a shining beacon. I don't know if that's significant to anything, but it's a little strange. There is a kind of weird planetoid vibe to the skyline, though. You can see planets in the background. So maybe that's why. Maybe this is like every frigging Mario game in one. I don't know.
I'd love it. That'd be great.
But yeah, that is for me single-handedly like the best thing that they showed with the Nintendo what is it? Nintendo
Switch.
I don't know the name yet. By the way, he made fun of me for not knowing the name earlier before we started recording. Just want to let you know what kind of a guy Roger really is.
I messed up once during this discussion already, though.
Oh, you called it NX. That's true. Well, that's a little bit more.
No, I forgot the name straight up at one point.
Oh. Mario for the Nintendo Switch, I think that looks very promising. I hope that it's just an amazing game. I have tons of calmed excitement for it. I'm not letting myself go nuts yet, but I can't wait to see more of that, and hopefully we don't have to wait till E3 to see more of that. So yeah.
Well, I don't want to say this, but I think it's a launch game. I'm almost positive that's a launch game.
I mean, it's out of all the games they showed, this is the one that seems the most actual development put into.
Yeah, but this and Zelda, I think there was even that rumor that Mario and Zelda would be there at launch. Like, this is probably it. This Mario game is probably going to be your launch Mario game. Oh, okay, wait. We didn't talk about one game though.
Okay. What's that? Oh.
What do you mean? What's that? Are you kidding?
Well, I thought it was Yoshi.
No,
Pikmin.
I don't think that's a port. I don't think it's a port. I've seen people saying that's a port, and I've seen some people say that it's a sequel. I think it is a sequel. Because one of the trending topics in Japan during the Switch release was Splatoon. SPLA and then the number 2. And I think a lot of people right off the bat thought that was a Splatoon sequel and not a Splatoon port. Because graphically it does look better. There are new hairstyles for the squids, and the map, I didn't really get a good look. Did you get a good look at what the map they were playing on was? If that was a returning
I think the map
is
the map might be new.
Okay, if
I'm not totally familiar with the DLC maps though, because I didn't play a lot, so it might be a new map.
If that's the case, and we're getting a Splatoon sequel around launch too, that's crazy good.
I'd rather them take their time with that, but
I mean, this goes back to the argument I was making with the Mario Kart thing, which is that if they're developing a new engine and they're making a new, maybe not a fully new engine, but a new Splatoon game, and they release it near the beginning and then they keep iterating on it, I feel like that's probably why Splatfest died. I think the reason the Splatfest stopped was because they were like, oh, we got to start developing the sequel. And then they knew the Switch was coming, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to have to put all our development efforts into this. And I think they'll continue and make that sort of, like I said, a platform. And they'll just keep adding DLC and doing more Splatfests. I can't wait. And a Splatoon from launch, where they won't have to worry about, ramping down the system. That's 5 solid years of new content Splatoon. Gimme! Injected in my veins.
Well, here's my problem with that, though. I remember when Splatoon first launched, I was very excited for the first week, and then very quickly I learned that, this game has very little to offer.
Right.
They released this game that just had minimal content, and then they told us, oh, we're going to give it to you over a course of time. But it's okay, well then why did I give you $60 up front? If you're going to do that, then charge me $20 and then charge me for the new stuff. I'm not really in favor of this idea of developers just being able to put an unfinished game out there and then saying, oh, don't worry, because you're getting it early and you'll get the rest of the game later. Because to me, by the time I get the whole damn game, I'm kind of burnt out and don't care. And that's what happened with me in Splatoon. I played the basic release that they made, and then by the time they had all these new levels and new weapons and everything, I was just kind of burned out and I didn't care to go back to it. So I feel like making a game and finishing it is a better way to go.
Yeah, I kind of liked the way they did it with Splatoon, which is weird because I played through the single player, I got through the single player, then I played a couple matches online, then I put it down for about a month, and then they made new weapons, and then I went back and I tried the new weapons. Then they introduced the Splatfest, so I went in for the Splatfest and I'd turn it on whenever there was a Splatfest, and then they would introduce more new weapons and they introduced new maps, so I'd go in and play it. I kind of prefer it like that because then I'm constantly playing it throughout the course of it, and I'm not just bum rushing through all the content immediately. I like that. I didn't used to like that about games. This is just maybe how I play games now. I didn't used to like that about games, but 2 games for me that I found myself playing a lot are Destiny and Overwatch on my PS4. And it's because there's a lot of content that keeps getting doled out in both of those games. They just had a new expansion pack for Destiny. They are adding new stuff to Overwatch very soon. I almost spoiled something because I know something that's getting added in a couple weeks. And I was like, oh, because Blizzard's out here. But anyway, it's I like that they're constantly adding new things and refreshing that experience, because then to me it's always like, oh, what's the new thing? I can't wait to log in and check to see what the new thing is. And if they can do that with Splatoon, great. The other reason I put down Splatoon is I think if Splatoon was on my PS4, which I turn on every day, I probably would have played it more. But because it's on a system that I don't turn on as much, normally if I want to play my Nintendo games, I turn on my 3DS, or I'm playing Pokemon, or because of that, I kind of put down Splatoon for a little bit. If this is on the main system that I'm playing from Nintendo, I'll be playing a lot more Splatoon. I know that from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. No, I still stand by the idea of finishing a game.
Which is fair.
I get that people are like...
That's fine, yeah.
I get that people are like, it keeps it fresh for me for a longer period of time, and I respect that. But from my perspective, a great game for me will be great 10 years down the line. I mean, I'm not even kidding. To this day, myself and friends still play Double Dash, Kirby Air Ride, Pikmin 2's Battle. Great design will always be great and exciting, and it doesn't matter if 5 years pass, I'm still going to want to play it. So I feel like this mentality of, then I don't get bored with it as quick. I kind of feel like, well, if you're going to get bored with a game in 5 months, it's maybe not the greatest game to begin with.
My argument for you would then be, just don't buy the game at launch. Buy the game 5 months later.
But I got patience.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that's your fault. That's not the fault, That's your fault. You could wait 5 months for the game to be discounted and then it has new features in it. You could easily do that, but you won't do that. You're impatient.
But don't you think it's nice to just finish a game and then sell it? And here's the deal. You can finish a game and then add on to it. So it's like, man, I got a finished game.
I feel like that with single player stuff, but if they have a new concept and they want to get it out there and they want to keep iterating on it and make new stuff, for something that's a multiplayer game, something like a Smash Brothers or a Mario Kart or a Splatoon, I actually think iterating on it, and releasing a base package and then iterating on it is the best way to go about it.
I'm okay with that if the base pack is a full final game.
Yeah, did you feel like there was enough content in Smash Brothers, for example, when you got the first?
So there's an example. I guess there's various degrees. I'm thinking mostly about Splatoon because we're talking about the Splatoon,
the sequel,
quote unquote sequel. Yeah. But when I think of Smash Brothers, and I think of kind of Mario Kart, but kind of not because it didn't have a battle mode, it didn't have a mission mode, right. But if the game is like Smash 4 and it's clearly done, then adding on stuff. That's the way to do it. Sakurai knew what he was doing. You make the final game, and then you add stuff to it, and then you kind of maybe fix a few things. That is the interesting way to continue keeping your game going. However, with Splatoon, they didn't do that. They put it out with 5 stages, 1 mode, minimal weapons, minimal customization for your gear. I don't want the sequel to do that. I want the sequel to have a lot of stuff, and then later keep adding even more stuff. So it's just this beast of a game. Because like we've mentioned, the Nintendo Switch, for me, for perhaps the best thing about this is we no longer have to have games on a handheld and a home console.
Yes.
We don't have to say, hey, Mario Kart was just released on the 3DS. Now here comes Mario Kart for the console. It's just going to be, boom, there's Mario Kart. And that team can move on and make new projects, or they can keep some of them working on Mario Kart to give us DLC and stuff like that. That is the best thing about Nintendo Switch. And that is something I'm very excited to see where that goes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see if that's the case with Splatoon. I'm just hoping that Splatoon comes out of the gate with a lot more content. And I think it has to. Now that it's been an established, series, they can't just start with 5 stages and 1 mode and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think they will. Because they could easily, even if they made 5 new stages and a new mode or whatever, and they brought over all the stuff from the original Splatoon, I think that'd be fine for launch, and then they keep adding more stuff. Because to be honest, there's a lot of DLC that you haven't played. If you haven't played the DLC, and the Splatfest from the old stuff, and the little items and stuff, to add all that and to bring that all back when you first released the game, and then it's still kind of a new engine, and they have new stuff, and they're adding new weapons, and they have maybe a new mode or something like that, and they release it, and they keep iterating on it, I think that'll be fine. I do think I would be upset with Mario Kart if they didn't really add a lot of stuff to it. But with Splatoon, because it's a shooter and because it's competitive and because I already know and I'm confident based on what they did with Splatoon before that they're going to be doling out new content, I'm not really as concerned with that game. I do feel your concern with Mario Kart. I get where you're coming from. But yeah, with Splatoon, I have complete faith that's going to rock. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so far with Splatoon, it does visually look like
it looks better.
The same. Well, it looks a little better,
yeah.
But I mean, just to the naked eye, you look at it and you probably be like, "Oh, this is the same kind of game." But I don't think they showed us the same level. I think that level was a new area, and we
think it
saw
is.
that the Inklings have new hairstyles. They have pants now, so you could see there were definitely like signs of changes being made, improvements being made. Whereas with Mario Kart, there was none of that.
Right.
I mean, King Boo and you can hold 2 items. Like I said, those are things you could already do.
Yeah, just in that brief thing we saw Splatoon. Yeah, exactly. New
We
hairstyles.
saw more stuff.
We saw new pants, dude. Bro, they can wear pants. You can customize your pants, man. That's awesome.
Let me ask you this, Roger. You know how I roll. You think there will be an option to wear no pants?
No pants all day, every day, my boy. I'm gonna be running around in my little Senior Pink briefs, so hard boiled, just running around my little red underwear. I'm gonna have like a tank top and then my little Senior Pink red briefs. And I'm gonna have my hair all swooped up cool like the guy on the left in the video, and then I'm gonna have some awesome shoes on and just run around and be a squid kid, you know?
I sure hope that we don't accidentally see your tentacles slipping out of those briefs.
So.
See what I did there?
You're a console, you're a handheld. You're a console, you're a handheld. You're a console, you're a handheld. You're a console.
I think I approved of, and this is the greatest compliment. I mean, people say Josh is a negative bitch. Well, listen to this. Prepare your ears. I think I approved of a couple of the new shoe designs in that Splatoon footage. Mm-hmm. So cool. if that's not a compliment and proves that I'm not always negative, I don't know what does.
I hope Callie and Marie
That's the greatest
come back.
honor.
That's all I care about. I hope they come back.
What?
Callie and Marie.
Oh, I hope they're dead. No. I hope they were like pop stars. I hope they're like washed up and doing whatever the squid equivalency of cocaine is.
That brings up a point, though. I said that, and I didn't mean to bring up another point. This is important. When you look in the footage for the Switch, one, you could see it on the controller, the NFC thing where you could tap Amiibo.
Oh, is that what's in the middle of it?
So the little dot thing, that's where you tap Amiibo. Two, in the footage when the girl's playing the new Mario game, there are Mario Amiibos. Next to the thing. I am pretty sure all the Amiibos from the Wii U generation will be compatible moving forward to the future with all these Nintendo Switch games, which I think is really, really good. That then all the Inkling Amiibos we already had and all the other Amiibos for all the characters we've already had will be compatible from here on out. That is awesome, and I love that. And I love that they're not abandoning it because, for a while there, Amiibo, there wasn't really a lot. It wasn't really doing well. There was obviously it did amazing for the first year, and then when they released the Animal Crossing set, then they overstocked everything, then they made a few more than they needed to, and they had all the weird rare Amiibos in stores at Toys R Us. You could find walls of Shulks and Lucario and stuff like that, and then they kind of overstocked, and they were making more versions of other Amiibos, but I think they're being smart now. I think they realize, no, we can still make a lot of money with Amiibo if we do it right, and I am pretty confident they are going to do it right. Having just seen that little Amiibo and a little bit of the trailer, I liked that they were like, oh yeah, Amiibo are coming back. And yeah, we're still totally on board. And I'm happy about that. Because now it doesn't feel like I wasted money,
Yeah, I mean, I've never been the biggest fan of Amiibo support in games, but I do think it'd be a big middle finger to Nintendo's fans if they were just like, oh yeah, we're not doing that anymore, by the way.
Yeah. I like that they're bringing that back. We'll see where that
goes.
I'm happy.
We'll see where that goes. Yeah. Is there anything else that we haven't discussed?
I mean, we could talk for another hour about this thing.
I know.
Just about that.
I know this is an hour long, but I feel like it's definitely justified. I mean, this is a big
This is
moment.
huge. It's the next system, man.
Yeah.
I will say this. This is one thing I don't fully like about it.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, because I'm going to get all the hate for being negative, even though I don't feel like I have been.
Yeah. So this is just it's a weird aesthetic thing. It's a weird aesthetic thing. When you lock the screen into the thing, you lock the screen into the dock, how the dock has that front part that says Nintendo Switch on it? It's just weird to me that it covers up the screen. I know that's strange.
Well, it's to protect the screen.
I get it. I understand why, but it just feels weird to me that it doesn't dock in where you could still see the screen, if you wanted to do two-player stuff, or it was you're playing Pikmin on the big screen and then a map appears on the small screen when it's docked. That was just weird to me. It's a minor thing, but it's something where I was like, oh, aesthetically that might not be the best thing, but I think I'll get used to it.
So that's another question I have, actually. This has the potential to do everything, I assume, that the Wii U could do.
Yeah.
So if for some reason a developer says, hey, you know what, we never made a Wii U game, but we actually want to make, let's just say Pikmin, for example. Nintendo wants to do the whole map on a not a touchscreen, but on a screen, right, on the controller. Technically, could they do that with this? I mean, I assume they could.
I think so. But I don't know, though, because when it's docked in, it kind of looks like the screen goes off. It kind of looks like the screen when it's docked in goes off.
If you're holding the screen, let me put it this way. If you're holding the screen with the two controller sides attached to it, can I have the screen doing something and the TV doing something as well?
No.
Or is it going to be like, no, you can't do that?
No, because the console is the screen. The console is the screen, so you have to dock it. Yeah. 100%. I know that for a fact.
So if I'm playing games,
yeah.
then okay. Well, then I guess so you can't do that.
Yeah, which
Honestly,
is why I mentioned like when you. I mean, it's not a huge deal. I'm going to be honest too, because
no. Hey, listen. Have you played Paper Mario Color Splash?
Oh,
Did you see
God.
that battle
Oh, yeah,
system?
okay,
so
yeah.
I'm happy that can't happen again.
No, we had a discussion. I liked Paper Mario Color Splash, but I totally agreed with one thing you said, which is they could have easily had the cards on the main screen and then be able to play it on both. Yeah, just like switch. Yeah.
There were a few games that did that kind of stuff, and I was like, holy Lord, can we get rid of this screen on the controller? And so if this is like, you can't do that anymore, thumbs up for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
God, I'm looking at some of the marketing pictures for this, and again, like I'm getting serious Black Wii in Japan circa 2009 vibes. Like these images are so pretty. This is a sexy looking system in some of these pictures. Like I don't necessarily like the dock, but like the system itself. This is a sexy system.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a bit revealing.
Well, I'll send you the picture. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Well,
where are you looking?
I retweeted it. It's the one from like 5 hours ago. Yeah. Oh, you don't have Twitter?
I'm not on Twitter.
That sucks, man. It's a shame. You should be.
No, I shouldn't be. Everybody agrees.
Yeah. Allison Rapp agrees with you.
So let's. I guess maybe we'll just wrap it up and give a closing statement here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have you go first since I started this off.
I'm very happy with what I saw, and I can't wait to see more of these games in probably about a week when they start talking about this stuff during the financial meeting and over the course of the next 4 months. That's the nice thing is we have a date. All those, is this going to come out in March? We don't know. Maybe it's going to get delayed. I don't want to see this again at E3. Nope, it'll be out by then. It's coming out March 2017. Looks like there's a buttload of good games coming out right at the get-go with Mario and Zelda and Splatoon and Mario Kart and Skyrim. I'm excited. I think the system by itself is sexy. Like I said, I'm not super fan of the dock thing, the way it looks in the dock, but I'll get used to it. That's fine. I'm not going to complain. I love that it's using game cards and that it's not using CDs. I love having the little thing where you split off the controllers and play it on the go, but I also like that there's a Switch Pro controller. I like that it has the USB ports. I love that it's region free. There's a lot of stuff I absolutely love about this, and I am stoked to be getting one in March.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just to reiterate what I said earlier, I'm not really somebody who plays video games on the go. And so maybe this can change. There was a time when I hated handheld gaming, and then the Nintendo 3DS came along and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And the 3DS for me is considerably better than the Wii U. So maybe this will be the thing that makes me say, I'm going to get a fancy man bag and carry this thing with me everywhere. So I don't know, but I will say that, right off the bat, I'm not blown away by the concept behind the system. I'm just not. I'm not negative about it. I'm not telling you that you're wrong if you are excited about it. I just don't play games on the go, so it doesn't really appeal to me personally. Having said that, I'm optimistic. Mm-hmm. And I feel that it's going to come down to the games. And one of the greatest things about the Nintendo Switch, and it might not be the sexiest thing on the surface level, but when we really get into it, years down the line, we're going to say, oh my God, this was the best idea ever because we no longer have to have 2 Mario Karts, 2 Animal Crossings, 2 this, 2 that. It's all one thing, right. And Nintendo has been able to pump out games and great games faster and better than they ever have been before. And I think ultimately that is what I'm going to really love Nintendo Switch about. The fact that there's going to be one game, one cartridge, whatever you want to call it, to one device. And I think unifying Nintendo in that way is going to be a very big step in the right direction. Mario Kart, like I said, I'm somebody who wants new. I want fresh, but I also want it to be familiar. But I don't want it to be so damn familiar that it's literally looking like the same damn game that I can pop in right now and play. But it's just a little 3-5 second preview. I get that. But I also feel like if you're going to show it, at least show a new course. At least show something like that. Mario Kart 8 could be, or Mario Kart 9, whatever you want to call this, Mario Kart Switch, could literally be Mario Kart 8, but with a great battle mode, and I will happily pay $60 for it. So where this game could really shine is in the content, and that's what I feel was lacking in Mario Kart 8. It didn't have the content that I wanted. It didn't have the amazing battle mode with multiple ways to play. It didn't have the mission mode or any kind of a unique story mode or a new mode or something like that. And so if this is what they're going to focus on, if they're saying, hey, this time let's just kind of bring Mario Kart 8 over, we'll obviously have new courses and stuff, well, new characters, new items, but we'll mostly keep it kind of similar, and we're going to put a lot of our attention on the modes and the content. Big thumbs up. We don't know that yet, but that's what I'm hopeful for. Mario, the 3D Mario game, looks like it could be very promising. I mean, that's kind of the game that I wish was just this whole 3 minutes. And as for the console, it looks nice enough. I'm a little worried that those little controller things are too small. I probably won't play with those. I'll probably just play with like a Wii remote on its side if that's still an option. Really hope it is. Or I'll just buy the Switch Pro controllers and just go with that. So while a lot of people right now are praying for my death because of my reaction video to this,
I still gotta watch it. I still have to watch that video.
I think if you watch it, you're gonna agree that while it does have some negative things to say, I wasn't really trolling and I wasn't too negative. But you know how some people can be. So yeah, I guess I'm just saying like I'm ready to see the games. I'm ready to see the games deeper in development, and I'm hopeful. I wish them luck, and I'm definitely going to be there by their side, cheering them on, covering this stuff. But the gimmick is definitely a far, far ways off from being as exciting as the Nintendo Revolution reveal was for me.
Okay.
I know I went on way too long there, but I felt like I needed to kind of defend myself because I'm looking through my email about people like so mad at me about this.
Wow.
So I wanted to make sure that my stance was clear, that I'm not hating it, and but I'm just a little bit more wary than most people.
One thing too,
and I don't play games on the go.
One thing too, huge, massive shout outs to Emily Rogers for calling like all of this. Because for as much hate as she would get for putting out teaser tweets or whatever, she was pretty much exactly right. Like all her specs were pretty much right. The region free thing was right. The whole thing about bringing over ports to certain games was right. And considering the fact that she put out that thing about Retro making a new IP, or how there might be like a new IP coming to the system very soon, I can't wait to see that eventually. That's going to be exciting, knowing that's coming down the line. So yeah, shout outs to Emily Rogers, because a lot of people doubted you, but nope, you were on the ball. So kudos to you.
Yeah, and the funny thing about rumors and hearing stuff behind the scenes, a lot of that stuff changes. So she might have said something that seems like it was wrong, but it might not have been wrong, and they changed it.
Right, and a lot of, most of her stuff was like right on the mark. So,
accurate, yeah. But like in the past, she said things and people were like, that didn't happen.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean that it wasn't going to happen. It doesn't mean that she was lying or she had bad sources.
Well,
it just means that things change.
Believe me, I know. Like, considering that when I put out that tweet about with Toad, when there was going to be the direct, and I was like, oh, we're going to find out more about the next Smash Brothers character. And people were like, it didn't happen that week. And then people were like, what the heck, Rogersbase is a liar. It's like, no, I just heard that it was going to happen during this week. Sorry. And then what happened 2 weeks later, or was it like a month later or whatever, we got Cloud. So whatever. It is what it is, man.
Yeah. So Roger, I have one last question.
Yes.
When will we see that big Nintendo Direct that reveals the games more in depth?
January.
When do you think that's going to happen?
January? Yeah, I'm 100% January. I think this was the thing that was meant to be the teaser. I think we'll find out a little more information about the system by the end of the year. I think we might actually find out pricing as early as next week because they're having their big financial investors meeting. I actually think we might even find out about more games during that investors meeting. That's going to be pretty exciting. Like, I'm looking forward to the live blog and the live stream and hearing investors' questions, and we'll probably even get a few game announcements. We'll probably get the official title of what this Mario game is during that investors meeting. So I'm expecting like a lot of cool details during that investors meeting, but now having seen it, I'm not really like too worried. I think January will be the big blowout. That's normally their big Nintendo Direct blowout. And that's what I think they're going to do. And I think they're going to have, that'll be a good 2 solid months of, here's all the stuff coming for the system that's coming out in March. Here's all these new games. It's a fresh new year. I don't think they're going to want to do that before the holiday season, just so they could get rid of what little Wii U stock they have. And also to encourage people to still buy 3DS. And plus Sun and Moon is their big focus for the end of the year. So I feel like, Sun and Moon by December will only be a month old. I feel like Sun and Moon's enough to really propel them through the holiday, especially because they've got the little mini NES thing. And I think they'll focus on having their big blowout Nintendo Direct in January. And then, of course, it gets released in March. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely agree with that. 2 months does seem like a little bit of time, but if they really nail it, every single day and they're constantly talking about it for 2 months and stuff, I think that's enough time.
Yeah.
The fan in me wants to say December just because I want it this year and I want it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I think there's a slight chance December, they really hit it for the holiday season and kind of say like, hey, look what's coming up. To kind of take, because obviously there's, Sony. I think Sony's launching a new system. But then again, Nintendo doesn't really look at that stuff. They don't really look at the competition.
Yeah, I don't think this is. And like this, if anything, this clarified that they aren't trying to compete with like Xbox and Sony anymore. It's like not even a thing. They weren't before, but like even though Reggie was like, oh yeah, we definitely weren't trying to compete with the other systems with Wii U, they were trying to compete with the other systems with Wii U. Like, regardless of what they said, they were definitely trying to compete with there. And now I feel like with the Switch, they're like, we're not competing anymore, we're our own thing. 3DS didn't really compete with anything. You could make the argument with Vita, but like, they weren't even thinking about the Vita with the 3DS. So like, Vita was just whatever. It was like sitting out there. So I feel like, yeah, they genuinely aren't competing with anyone now. They're their own. It's the Nintendo system. It's their own thing. So, you know, whether or not it's a success isn't dependent on Sony or Microsoft. It's dependent on the developers and the games.
We can both agree that if they have not revealed like a big, exciting direct with games by like the end of January, they're insane.
Yeah, I don't know why they would. I
don't see that happening at all. Like, I'm going to say late December. Or January.
I'm sticking by January, unless they do like December 26th, the day after Christmas or something. But like, I really don't see them doing it before the holidays. I just don't. I feel like
no, they'll want all the attention with their marketing and everything to be whatever they're selling for the holidays. Right. The NES Classic Edition, Pokemon. I think Super Mario Maker comes out for the 3DS.
Unless they really want to push and be like,
Mario.
Unless they really want to push and if as a kid I like having something in a box, but unless they want to be like, hey, this comes out in March and you buy your kid the pre-order for the NX, the Switch. I keep calling it the NX, but you buy your kid like the pre-order for the Switch and they get like a little card or something from Target saying you reserved a Switch or whatever. But I don't think that's going to be the case, which is why I think it's going to be after the holidays. Yeah,
it'll be January. I wouldn't be surprised if it's literally like January 1st or January 2nd.
I could see it at the very beginning of the year. Yep.
So yeah, for me, it all comes down to the game. Show us the game. Show me that Mario game with little Spanish cactuses dancing around
Super
with maracas.
Mario Universe! Woohoo!
All right, I think this was a good discussion.
Yeah, it was.
This is very long. I was gonna say I'm a little bit more positive about it, but I don't think I was ever really negative. I just I still don't really care about the handheld thing and want to see the games.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Roger, they all know where to find you. There are links below.
Yep.
You are Rogersbase everywhere, right?
That's right.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Even on Miiverse. I'm Rogersbase on Miiverse.
Holy God. When's the last time you used Miiverse?
I use it on my 2DS, but I don't really use it on my home.
Did you ever have a 3DS?
I had a 3DS, which is what my Rogersbase Miiverse was tied to, and then that 3DS broke, and then I got a 2DS from them, and then I have the Rogersbase 2DS one, which I just like browse on my 2DS because that's primarily like what I play on. And then the one on Wii U is tied to the original, the Rogersbase one, which I'll probably transfer over. If we have to like transfer Miiverse accounts, I'll probably transfer that Miiverse account to the Switch. But we'll see.
Okay. I got bad news though. I'm looking at the comments for this reaction video I did, and it turns out I hate Nintendo.
I can't wait to read. I'm gonna read them literally as soon as we're done. I'm gonna click it right now and I'm gonna watch it.
Roger, I hate Nintendo apparently.
All right.
Anyways, guys, keep it locked right here for a lot more Nintendo coverage. You know, the company that I hate.
Yep.
See you later. Bye-bye.